It's been 3 years since Grayson's craniotomy. Come follow us. Good morning, y'all. Wanted to come on and talk to y'all. Today is an amazing day. It's a huge one on our journey. Today is 3 years that Grayson had his craniotomy. At about this time, July 27th, 2020, we were preparing to go down a road that we never expected, our new journey. So Grayson had a grade 2 glioma tumor in the frontal lobe of his head. We got there that morning about 5:45. Surgery probably started about 9. He endured 7.5 long hours of surgery. Mind you, this was in the middle of the height of the COVID pandemic, known as coronavirus at the time. So I was alone, could not take anyone with us to the hospital. It was just him and I, which explains our bond today. So we got there. We had to check in. We were masked. Did triage, did IV, did everything. Grayson was super okay. He had no idea. My baby had no idea that his life was about to change. And he was at a point where things could go right or wrong. There's just always that part of surgery. We're talking about his brain. He was 3 years old, and we were on our way. They rolled him down the hall. He went in again for 7.5 long hours of surgery. I could not leave the hospital because if I did, I would have to check back in. I had been COVID tested, and I was not going to leave my son. So I stayed in the triage room. I actually did go back out to my car because I worked that day. I didn't even tell my employer what Grayson was going through because the world had been shut down since March, and this is now July. So we were working from home, and nobody knew anything. The strong side of me just would not allow me to share. I didn't know what that meant. They told us we would be there for 5 to 7 days. So this was a Monday morning in 2020. So I just took, I didn't even take the day off. I worked again. And then my plan was to take vacation afterwards, like a week after. Since we were at home, I didn't have to worry about taking him to daycare or anybody watching him after that. So I worked as much as I could. The Wi-Fi was horrible. I was in a parking deck and in my car. I would drift not off to sleep because I didn't sleep the night before. And my phone rang every 45 minutes for 7.5 hours telling me that, Grayson is fine, blood pressure's fine, he's breathing fine. And I would hang up the phone. Every 45 minutes, my heart dropped. Yeah, you want to know that things are good, but it's always like that call. I don't want that call. But he was fine. I went back in after about 5 hours of surgery and went back to my assigned room, and I waited. The surgeon came in. He put his feet up, and that actually was the same day that John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis, passed. He had passed away, and he was lying in state in the Capitol. And the surgeon came in and put his feet up, and he was like, "What an amazing guy." And I'm looking at him, he's drenched in sweat, and I'm like, "Sir, what about my kid?" And he was like, "Well, Grayson is in there sitting up at 45 degrees, helping the tech sew him up." I was like, do what? So anyway, he kind of joked about it, but he told me, all in all, Grayson did good. His breathing did good throughout the whole surgery. Um, just to be prepared for what I was going to see. Grayson had an incision from ear to ear. And I didn't know what that was going to look like. So he left. They came and got me and told me that we were moving to ICU, which was part of the plan. And he was in recovery. So he stayed in recovery about an hour and a half, I believe. And I went to the ICU room, started to prepare, change my clothes and get comfortable so that I could receive my son. Well, he rolls in this institutionalized big bed, and then it was like a crib, metal crib. So I was like, can I touch him? Whatever. So I began to look at him. Grayson's head was really, really large. The incision was really big. Lots of gunk on the pillow. They cleaned him up as much as humanly possible, but his head was oozing, and his head was like 3 times the size. So within an hour of him being in the room, his eyes swole up, and then the fluid went down his neck. His head was oozing. I got to hold him, but he was kind of groggy and out of it. But he knew what toys were. I had trucks for him, and he would try to sit up, but his head was so heavy, and then he was kind of still on the medication that he could not. So we just went through the afternoon. There were only, I think, 5 children in ICU. All surgeries were non-elective. They had to be of necessity, or you couldn't have them because of COVID. The ORs were shut down. So there were only 5 children in there. Well, we got dinner, I guess, around, Grayson came out of surgery about 3:30, maybe 4. It's about 5 or 6. They started telling him he could have Jello or whatever. My son sits up and he's like, I'm so hungry. So they bring him chicken noodle soup with or rice and chicken, something like that. He started to eat. Well, I gave him his food. A few people came in, but there were only 5 nurses on the whole floor. It was a ghost town. After that, no one came at all. I kept hearing codes go off. So another little patient was having a crisis, evidently, and everybody was in that room. So we actually stayed in our room for about 4 hours. Probably when Grayson needed more pain medicine is when they decided to come back. Just hard. We're going through things in the world, and here I am with my son, and literally no help. Thank God nothing was going on with Grayson. He did fine. He had no pain, but we just hung out, called people, talked to a few people on FaceTime, and there we were. So that was night 1 on Monday. Night 2 on Tuesday. They were like, y'all are moving to a regular room. And I was like, I need these monitors. I need for y'all to know that, he's still here every time he breathes. So the nurse was like, you'll be fine. He's doing amazing. He's doing way better than we've seen in so many patients with this same surgery. So we go down to a regular room on the second day, but at the end of the night, it was end of the afternoon, it was 5 or 6 o'clock. They're on shift change. They got us food. I could not leave Grayson in the room because he was 3. Grayson has autism. He didn't know to stay on the bed, so I had to call for everything. When I needed to go to the bathroom, I just waited all night. I waited until he drifted off to sleep and went, because I literally had no one. So that was day 2. We roll into Wednesday. PT comes, physical therapy comes, they start to walk in. Well, Grayson goes up on his toes immediately. And I was like, what is wrong? And they said, well, that's the brain. It will respond like that. I worried about it. They told me that it would be okay. Grayson is still a tiptoe walker till this day. So, despite clinical diagnosis and all of that, I think that's just where he is supposed to be. It's not a bad tiptoe. We do therapy now, and he comes out fine. So that was Wednesday in the room. Thursday morning, they come and they're like, you guys are going home today. So we were supposed to stay there 5 to 7 days. We were there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we checked out about 11 a.m. on Thursday. So that was our craniotomy journey. I'm amazed that I held it together to even do this video. Yesterday, I think this week has been really weird. And this was probably why, because I'm so busy that I didn't even realize that the day was coming up. So it is here. We are grateful. We have a barrage of appointments today because school is about to start. We have to get him all of his maintenance appointments and forms and all that stuff done for him to go to school. Grayson is going to the first grade, y'all. My baby is 6. It was 3 years ago that we started on the journey of what is probably going to be a lifetime. We came home. I'm again grateful to all of our friends and family. We had meal trains, we had food, we had drive-bys, just lots of love. Grayson took about July, August, September, about 3 to 4 months of appointments. We were in the car driving week after week, day after day, from follow-up to the neurosurgeon to neurology, trying to get him therapy in the middle of COVID. So it was very hard to get appointments. We had to sit in the car until it was time to go in. But my son, that Grayson of mine, is a trooper. When I tell you he's a trooper, he's a trooper. He has endured so much, and he is so amazing. He gets me every single time. It's like nothing stops him. He's a robot. He's a robot that he pretends to be. And I thank God for him. God has been our strength in the middle of every storm that we go through. We don't go without. We don't do without. And my heart is always so okay with where we are. Not necessarily with what we're doing, but I'm okay with where we are. I'm confident in knowing that there is something on the other side of this, and we're on the other side of it. We're seeing it day after day, week after week. So thank everybody for your continual thoughts and prayers. As a lot of you know, this seeped over into a chemo journey, which I will talk about soon. But I want to thank you guys for watching us and following us and continuing to pray for us. And I'll add some pictures after this video so that you can see what Grayson looked like before, during, and after. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing day. And remember, my amazing Gray.
I'm dreaming in dreams bigger than me, taking my time, giving to me, paint my life into a masterpiece, coloring it how I want it to be. Won't stop till I see what I want to see. I'm picking up books to get inside the heads of the ones who happen to life instead of it happening to them. I wonder if I'll make a difference like that.